So what happens if you use the probiotics and then throw in a tile? Does it kill the microbes, or what does it do?
You mean
Tylenol.
Tylosin.
Antibiotic.
Yeah, antibiotic.
Yeah. Okay, let's talk about this for half a minute. Antibiotics are, okay, we don't want to leave this topic altogether. Antibiotics are, in general, let's kill the whole village to get 3 thieves. Okay? We're going to go in and try to wipe out different types of microbes. Okay? And so these guys are going to try and really nuke the whole town and clean out that entire system. And so our microbes, some of our microbes are susceptible to different antibiotics. Some of those guys are not. Okay? The ones you want to worry about, that the pathogens like E. coli, Salmonella, Listeria, those guys, when you get them antibiotic resistant, now you got a problem. And many of them are already there. Okay? Some of our microbes are going to have a lot more resistance to certain antibiotics. Some of them will get killed very, very quickly. The problem is where we get into problems with humans, chickens, livestock as a whole, is we use antibiotics and we never replace the good guys. And we constantly degrade and alter our gut microflora from our beneficials, our good guys, over here to our bad guys. Because this is another thing I want you to understand about microorganisms. All of them are simply opportunists depending on how the environment presents itself. Okay, now think about that. If I alter the environment to grow good guys, my bad guys are going to struggle in that environment. If I have an environment where my bad guys proliferate and they can really grow, they're always going to dominate the good guys. And my production is going to be toxins and poisons, not nutrition. And I'm always going to be fighting that system. Well, this was, when you go back to the big war on, is it the germ or is it the environment? Okay? This goes back to the germ theory. Okay? And what medicine, pharmaceuticals wanted to tell everybody, and this started with Louis Pasteur. Pasteurization came off of the germ theory, is that germs determine the health of the person or the lack of health. So if you were sick, it was strictly because a germ got you. A bacteria, something bad got you. Okay? The other guys argued that no, the environment either encourages or discourages health or disease. So for example, in some of the earlier plagues, why did one guy get it and the nurses in the hospitals didn't get it? Why do some people who get vaccinated have a higher incidence of the disease that they're vaccinated for versus those who don't get the vaccination? Okay? And so this became the antibiotic pharmaceutical industry. If you have a disease, it is strictly because of a germ, and we must kill the germs. We don't know which one it might be the bad guy, so let's just nuke them all. Let's deal with the germ. And these other guys, over time, it has proven and proven and proven that the environment controls what grows. It's just that what have we done to the environment to encourage what growth? It's the same in the gut. I can alter it from good guys to bad guys depending on what I put in. I promise if I eat donuts, I have Twinkies, I do lots and lots of sugar, and I sit around and watch the Olympics for the next year and reruns, I will alter my gut microflora. I'll catch every cold that comes along. I'll get sick. I'll get high blood pressure. I'll get everything the doctor says I shouldn't have. And I can actually alter my state of health depending on what I eat. Because when I eat all of these things, everything that goes into my system determines who is going to grow, who's going to live, and who's going to get shifted. Well, whatever I'm eating then gets processed either for good or for bad. So if I have a compromised immune system and I have all of these organ issues, I'm going to constantly be fighting and fighting and fighting to feel good. It just doesn't happen. We alter it and we change it, then these microbes don't have a place to grow. Pathogens are opportunistic. They can't grow in an environment that isn't conducive to them. And so, what are the things that make things conducive for pathogens? Well, first thing is there are no voids in nature. Okay, there are no holes. There's no empty spaces. And this is specifically true when you start talking about gut microflora. Because in this system, I have so much room. And I'm either going to culture good guys, the beneficials, or I'm going to cultivate the pathogens. And so if I take in toxins, I take in nutrient deficient stuff, I use antibiotics, I am shifting my pathogenic groups into higher and higher populations. If I can eliminate some of my environmental toxins and other things, and I am replenishing my gut microflora, I can keep my beneficial populations in a very high ratio in the gut. And so we shift these. Every time we put something into us, we are a chemical and biological reactor. Everything that goes in shifts something. So you drink something, you feel good, you feel bad. Okay? I mean, I love chocolate cake and milk. And it is so good to eat. And then it is so crappy to deal with for the next hour. I mean, it's like, oh, that was so good. I know it's not worth it, but boy, it's so good. Well, this happens. I mean, we do this all the time. And so everything that goes in there stimulates something. So if I've got a high sugar diet, I'm stimulating a lot of different organisms that are going to work against me. And so all these kind of foods that I eat, we had the gardeners here yesterday. You know, we basically said, guys, what you're growing out in your garden, whether it's got any quality, and what toxins you're spraying on your soils and spraying on your plants is either helping the people in the colony or it's hurting them. Because it becomes an input that alters for good or bad. Simple as that. And so what we've seen over and over and over again is there's a lot of inputs coming in to all of us and our birds from the outside that aren't necessarily good. But by topping off the biology, keeping the minerals going in there, the systems, how they function, have the resources to keep health in place and keep production in place. Okay? So we look at the environment and say, okay, what have we done to alter things? The germ doesn't have the last say. He'll just show up because you provide him the opportunity.